So let's go to the Cromford report. Yeah, log in. Right, so what we're gonna look at here is we're gonna look at this price here.
Oh, kazoo tight.
So I will give you this is the mainstay of it. The point is, this is listing class, and in what happens in markets is people remember the past with prices. And they don't look deep enough at the comps, or shall I say that sellers do not look at a house that's more upgraded than theirs and think that that changes the price. Right? Sellers believe that their house is, it's why I don't like price per square foot, because then that makes people believe, well, then it's very simple. We just take my square footage and we times it by price per square foot. And what's going to show you is how when the market weakens, meaning as there's less sales moving forward, there's less properties that get bid up because there's less buyers, there's less demand, so that they don't get bid up as high. And then eventually only the best houses at the price will sell at full price. And then you'll start to see what I call the reaccordion of prices, meaning that a neighborhood typically ranges about 25 to 30% from the top best house to the bottom best house of the same square footage. I'll say that again. So the range of prices in a neighborhood, meaning if the house that's completely redone with, I'll say in this case, real wood floors at 2 million versus the one without that has porcelain plank tiles, right? So which one will sell for more, right? Typically or 9 times out of 10, the real hardwood will outsell that. But now, so then that makes that house with the less upgrades have less value. We're going to look at this in a number format. So okay, so what we get to see in this case here, and what I'm talking about is this is just a trend, but list prices have remained. Why is that so slow? Okay. Right, so if you can see here, so we get this report, Cromford, so you can see active list price. Okay, active listings, the average price per square foot for listings is $353.86. As you can see, we have achieved that in May, 356, and it's been holding. Now that gap, if you can see, is $50 plus $20, so $70. So it's a 20% gap between the list price average. That means that they were trying to get a higher price and then they couldn't, right? Because now, right here is where we peaked, but now prices did not come down, meaning that sellers are going to have the expectation, because what they're doing right now is okay, well, whatever the last house sold for, I just want to list at that price, even though my house might not be equal to that. And what happens in listing appointments, because we had a CBOC past client that is a cheap son of a bee that doesn't want to pay any commission, that we had to go out and to talk to him about the house. And he believes, because he does not look at the comps real tightly, that his house was worth substantially more than he thought. Because the last comp he remembers is from 9 months ago that sold for this number. And then he takes that number and he times it by his in a rough number. So when you're walking into listing appointments for the next 60 days, until the word gets out, if prices are going to slow down a little bit here, or potentially even move downward, different, because we're going to look at, so you can see last month, the prices were 287, and this month they're 282, so that's a drop of $5 a square foot. Right now, 1 month does not make a trend, but I'm just gonna show you. Because what's causing this trend is the beginning of a trend, and that is mortgage rates over 7.5%. So as that lessens demand, we're gonna start to see prices start to, we noticed it on a house I went out with, I'm trying to, bald head,
Let's see.
no, our agent.
Oh,
Randy?
What's that?
Randy,
Is it Randy?
No, I guess we got two bald.
Mark Vandera.
No, Mark, no. Played football.
Oh, yeah, Mason up.
Mason Ock and I went out on a house. And I thought that the bottom end of the offers, meaning they were asking for a cash price. The seller did not want to go on the market, and they wanted to know what the cash price of their house was. Because, we'll take a look at the neighborhood, I'll show you. And it's just paying attention to trends. And what it is that the flippers know, meaning the people offering cash, that the market's turning or softening, so they're gonna go lower with their offers. This was a house in. Who knows what this number is?
No lie. I think yours is the new password for yours.
Yeah, me too. But the point was, we got offers, but the offers were too low. So this scenario is easier to see than me just talking, so I'm gonna kind of bring it up.
I like y'all's MLS.
Is ours much different than yours, Carlos?
Very,
Yeah.
very. We have Matrix.
Oh, okay. Ours could use a little bit of fix up, but it's not bad. How long ago was this, Jeff?
I don't know. A week, 2 weeks ago. But it was the beginning of trend, and that's what I'm seeing is meaning, so this house right here. That it? No, it's over here. I guess I could just go like this, list price, 1.8. That highlights the neighborhood. Just slow.
Yeah, the corner break, stuff, check.
I want that, but didn't it show a house there? Yeah,
Showed a couple of them, then they disappeared.
yeah,
Yeah, because in the last 5 months,
no, there is, it just, I had checked that stuff and it. No. It's probably not, it's not called McCormick Ranch, it's called something else. Wow, how quickly that got really expensive, holy cow. Was I on the right side of the street? Maybe. I thought it was in here.
is there safe search?
Maybe. But I mean, why wouldn't it 1.8? Oh, maybe it's, sorry, apologies. Yeah, it's in this neighborhood here. Okay. Yay. Okay. All right, so now. We walk into a house. I'm gonna move this comps now, it's a little older. It's just the makeup of prices, right? Just trying to give you an example. List price over million. Okay. All right, and what I'm talking about here is this house here. As you can see. This is what I'm gonna call A1. Right, best house listed in the marketplace, right? Because if you can see that price is at 2.2. One just sold at 2 million and everything else is a lot lower. Okay. We're gonna go a little, go. All right, when we look at this house, I'm just gonna define. The upgrades, right? Meaning. The characteristics why people, bid up this house or whatever. Right, so when we look in that kitchen. Pretty nice kitchen. Right, we got what's called a waterfall. Countertop. Right, that's quartzite. That's not just quartz, it's quartzite. So you can see the backsplash goes all the way up the wall. It doesn't stop here or here, right? All the areas are filled in with the backsplash all the way up to the wall. But the point that I want to make here is that half of that kitchen ceiling is 8 foot. Okay, to me, if the kitchen was bigger, it potentially could have got more, but that's still, because it's only a half a kitchen. But then the question is did they open up this wall or whatever it is? Because the floor plan, so this house is. This house is. 4,000 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 4 baths, Estotos. La Mancha, and our house is 3,300 square feet, not upgraded. But the question is because now you gotta try and calculate what the value of this house is. So they extended the aisle, custom cabinets, and most importantly, new hardwood floors, new quartz, new cabinets. They painted the big thing is the height of the ceiling here is the big thing, because when you look at this and try and discern. I mean, you got your finishes, all that stuff, obviously custom cabinets, which is required, gas, I don't know if you saw that. That was electric, the house wouldn't have sold us for much in general.
And the cooktops are more popular with the separate oven, right? Cause then they can do the double oven in the wall.
No, but they do double oven underneath it, the big 60-inch stove, people like that a lot. I mean, I would put it in my house, I had no problem selling.
The range. The oven range.
Well, we'll look at it. So then you can see they did custom tile on the floor, glass. They didn't do, any kind of feature. There's some wainscoting on that wall. Right, hardwood in the master, hardwood here. Big fan. High ceilings in lots of places. Only the bedrooms have the 8-foot ceilings. You can tell that by the 6-foot doors, but they put floating cabinets. In here, that's usually a little more expensive, custom lighting, a lit mirror with. Okay. And then, so now when this house goes up, this was not listed, this house is. 2,600 square feet. 2-car garage. Holy cow, for 2 million. Is the guest house not listed in the square footage?
Could be. One student will tell you.
Yeah, so what it is people want move-in ready. You see it? There it is, 26, yeah.
That should be the,
Attached, added 90 square feet, maybe. But, wow. So this is, proving my, price per square foot point. Right, cause if this house is gonna appraise, the highest house sold for 2.2. I just wanted to see if it had any extras. I mean, there's custom ceiling there. Range, yeah, I don't know. Wow. Amazing. Custom. You know, higher end finishes in there, but all right. But anyway, we couldn't get a house price. We couldn't get an offer over $1 million off market, which I thought was low. I thought we would get into the 1.2 range. Because the theory is if it's 3,500 square feet. Probably do the remodel for $300,000. There should be 150 or 200 in there, but the gap was a lot larger, right? And that just shows me that because that sets the low end of the range. So now when we look. Because the numbers from the Cromford report show me that people are still, the competing agents are still coming in super high. Is the point here, meaning that when you're going out on a listing appointment. You're gonna have to be high. Because even at under contract price. Is 309 average, where that's a 355, you can see people are, that's how they're winning, is they're telling people it's worth more. But this has just started to drop a little bit where the price. If it's gonna move down a little bit here now, because what my point. In telling you all of this was to explain the semantics of price, because. You can see there's 5,400 sales and that average is. 282. Now in there, if you can see, if I take out all the lower price houses. You can see. That the expensive houses drive the market price. Okay, because that price for homes over 2 million is $700 a square foot. Right, where if we include all of the houses. It's 282. So now you can see, so now the second piece of that, why I think that. Meaning. Just because there's less of a house sold, it gives the appearance that the prices are going lower when actually the houses are not going down. Okay, think about that. But it helps because it makes sellers softer, but the reality is that now demand is so weak that. You're gonna see the reaccordion of prices in a neighborhood, meaning instead of the range being. Because the range had moved to about 10 or 15% in a neighborhood from top to bottom, upgraded to not. To now, as it expands, so. It just, the unupgraded houses will sell for a lower price, and that's what we're starting to see now.
Where's can we see the chart with everything less than 2 million?
262.
Right, so that's what you're saying, is the higher price homes are the ones dragging it down.
There're just less of them. Yeah, right, because so. If you look at the amount of sales, same thing. Because you're just gonna see less, you can see. But basically, each month when there's less luxury sold. As you can see, the prices were higher there and now it's 50 versus 80. So now you have, there's less $700 a square foot houses in that allows that price to come down, even though neighborhoods didn't necessarily fall in value. And I'm just, this is more just helping you understand the way it works. So, but why we have to be aggressive in our, when presenting our, if you have a aggressive, you have passive, and then you have non-competitive, that non-competitive has to stay almost in new record highs, because you're gonna still see the top house almost get the number, but then the houses that are not as upgraded, if you walk in, those are gonna see less demand.
So basically, we appease them to the belief that their house will be the higher square footage, run the coming soon, and then tell them we're overpriced.
Right, so to me, and great question, because that's great leading question, Carlos, so the question is how do we get them to be realistic then? Because what it is you have to present the neighborhood comps, right, where you show the comps in the neighborhood. For instance, what was the name of that? You know? What was the name of that search? The listing appointment with the guy that wanted. Louisa. Did we save it?
Yeah.
So this house. As you can see in this neighborhood. So you can see active new listing, 673. When you're looking at those comps, you're going. So every house is better than the last sale. And that's what we're gonna see is there, so now in that house, now the house no longer will get top dollar because it's gonna try and go at a higher number. But what, to me, you're gonna have to do is take the. So that's 2092. And that's 2039. You see those houses, right? So. Yeah, so when you look here, you say. You know, how does your house compare to this one?
It's in the process of being fully.
Okay, but it's still nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
That one's fully. This is one right around the corner from it that he was comparing to.
okay, right, so the hard thing is because they think. They see the house listed at this,
Same floor plan,
same floor plan,
way more remote. This house that we're listing is fully original from the 90s. All the white appliances completely dated.
right? And to me, I would, probably after the listing appointment, just say, you know. Hey, when I'm looking through these comps and I'm looking for the last one that sold that looks like yours. I mean, you can see this one at 625 that sold. This year, and our house is not as nice of, and that's at 625, meaning you gotta throw them that comp and then. What you do is you take a screenshot of the pictures. And say, you know, I don't know if ours is upgraded with this. How great is this house? This is just a full remodel.
That's a different floor plan.
Right. Yeah, vaulted ceilings with a 2-story, but a nice house. When did that sale close?
That one has a pool too.
Yeah, so this is, the point is just that the best house, meaning that that house, which is completely redone, gets 715, but that doesn't make all the other houses worth that, right? Because especially if it needs a remodel, I mean, so we were telling him 6 and he thought we were way low, right? Which, I mean, we could be, but you know, I think because of less demand, you're gonna see the houses come in lower.
And Carlos, to answer your question, yeah, we do tell them a little bit higher and then we go through the coming soon phase and someone might say, well, that's being deceitful. But it's just getting them to see the light because it's for their own good. It's no different from when you see a mom with their toddler, they have cake in one hand and they're going like this, and then they sneak vegetables in. Like that mom deceived her kid, but it was for her own good. That kid needed the vegetables to see the light.
Oh,
It's the
yeah,
same-
I totally agree with that. I totally agree with letting them, I guess, stumble upon
Right.
themselves.
Well, and the thing is they want you to try to get top dollar. They want you to believe that we can get the number. If you don't believe a number, then if you'll never get it. So they want the listing agent to believe, I think we can justify it if we get an offer. Is your answer, is if we get an offer at this, I can put that deal together. Right? But I'm just not, I don't know if we're gonna get that, that's all, right? And then you're just putting in the seed of doubt of. You know what, hey, we might, sometimes we list it, because that's what happened is over the years, we've listed houses that are crappy and it sells at full price. At the higher number, and you're just like,
Perfect buyer.
perfect, what we call perfect buyer, so. I'm redoing a house over in Desert Ridge. And the neighbor's friend wants to buy it. Perfect buyer, right? So to me, they'll overpay to have that family be next to theirs. Because they know both kids. And that is the family environment that they want. So that's the person will just take it because they want to live there. It's similar to the story we had with Sharon's listing where they were in a neighborhood where there wasn't a lot of one levels available, but it's just a perfect little neighborhood in McCormick Ranch. There's just so much demand of people that would like a one level in there. They overpay for it a little bit, but it's got 5 offers. But the point is that now we're not seeing 5 offers on, because you're starting to see inventory hang out there a little more. Because it's all coming out, this is those agents promising those numbers. Right, in the listing, you can see, obviously. Your house is it's hard to think that that's gonna happen. But the point here is know that that's what you're competing it at, if you're not offering. That, hey, we can get a higher number, it's possible, not probable.
Someone else will offer that if we
Yes.
don't.
Right, because that's what they want to hear, so.
So I have a question.
Jason?
Great, Jason.
Yeah. So my question is this: as professionals, why do we care about the price per square foot? Because in my opinion, that's just if you want to go ahead and get flooring from Home Depot, you need to know how much you need to get and how much it's going to cost you. Or if you get your real estate information from HGTV. Because just like how you said, it doesn't differentiate between a property in the neighborhood that needs to be gutted because has rats and mold and everything in it, versus a property in the same neighborhood that's all upgraded and has modern technology and everything in it. So why do we really care about that other than
We
to,
care because
help
that's what the competing, because in Arizona, you're in a competing state more than, I don't know, where did you sell before, Jason? In Arizona?
just here in Arizona, yeah.
Yeah, we have so much competition that everybody has a neighbor that's a friend that's a realtor and they use the price per square foot number. So when they go to Zillow, they automatically see their price per square foot number. So it's in the marketplace. We're just always. When we're talking to sellers, that's the number that's coming out of their mouth.
Right, they hear that, like you said, from HGTV, from their friends, and if we ignore it, we gotta bring up the fact that that's what they're asking about. So like Jeff said, we have to at least acknowledge it, but like you said, it doesn't take into account if there's a pool, it doesn't take into account any of the features, which is why Zestimates and all the other values are so far off, because just like you said, they don't take that into account. But like Jeff said, it's because the sellers want to hear that because that's the number they've always heard.
And it's why you're gonna have to take a picture of this on your computer and text it to them or email it to them so that they see the other comps that we only got. If you take a picture here's what we call the range of prices in your neighborhood, the worst house got $496. So basically your aggressive number is around 500 and your high end number is up to 7, but that's why you want to show them the range, because it's just, that's what occurred, not what is conjecture. Because what people don't understand is, and this is probably what leads to them believing it is they think that the house sells at that price. Like when you talk to enough sellers, I mean, I've talked to about 2,000 of them. They think when a house is listed at a price, if it goes off the market and cancels, they think it's sold for that number. Because they saw it in the marketing and then it went down. They didn't know that it sold. They didn't know that it closed. And it helps convince them that that's what they're selling for. That's just it's for the older age or people that have sold more than 3 houses, 4 houses, 5 houses. They I mean, it's not like real estate's a secret. I just always like to acknowledge what's possible out there to help convince as many people that we're the best option.
Right, and when sellers are browsing their neighborhood listings, the ones they focus on are the active ones. Because those are the ones they get alerted about when they go on the market. They don't necessarily pay attention to the ones that closed. So that's what that seller brought. I was like, I see this one's active for 715 right around the corner that's fully gutted, has a pool, and it's, it's just because those are the ones that alert them on Zillow when it's active, not necessarily the close.
Yeah, so they go out and they look at the comps in Zillow. Now, the major point there is always, well, they've been at that price for 144 days. I don't see that that basically they're showing you that this is a good house to target for you when it goes, to set up an alert that when it gets canceled, because this person probably wants to sell, but the realtor started them too high and now they're reluctant, but they're gonna come down. They're gonna need to sell. Let's look at the,
It's the owner agent.
Yeah,
oh,
it's the agent actually owns the trust that's or is part of the trust that's listing.
okay. But it's not selling, yeah. So the good news is they're gonna reset the number lower, so they're gonna keep lowering it, but then that's the question is. That's at 717 and you got 715 here, meaning will it go down to 700? I don't know. Good question, Jason, or good comment. Anyone else? I mean, to look at, well, I'll show you one last thing. Right, because it's simply, when you do a quick search, how those numbers relate. When you go closed. And you go month. 7. 1. 1. 7. 3. So for all of MLS, now that's including for us stuff outside of the main area. But you can see 5,800 homes were sold, meaning it includes new builds and it includes homes in Flagstaff and stuff like that. But the point of it is you can see in the month there's 5,800. So the question is what percentage of those were over a list price, not a sales price of 2 million? Say 115, but last year it was probably 200. That's what we're showing over here is where we showed that it went down. So that's kind of what makes up prices and where we're going. And I mean, to me, I think because of this factor, the semantics of meaning that we're gonna have less volume of high-end homes. I think that this number comes down a little bit more necessarily. I don't know that the house prices, because it has an overall effect, it all, moves price down. Meaning. Once average starts going down, it does affect what you can get for your house, because now people are gonna offer lower, not higher. But essentially, it's always what did the last house sell in that neighborhood, but you can see that 717 is struggling to get a new higher price, even though that's a two-story. But. All right,
Y'all, 5,000 closings in July. We had 464 here in Corpus.
yeah, you got a small town. Yeah, well, I mean, we don't. Your average agent works in a 4-mile radius, 5-10 mile radius. I mean, meaning we have. Our county has, I mean, Scottsdale's 282, Phoenix is 2 million, right? So. But there's 5 million total people, so, it's not like, I mean, we go valley-wide, but. That's why we went valley-wide, is to take advantage of the amount of homes that are sold. Because we can drive there in 45 minutes. All right, thank you so much. Happy Wednesday.